Mentioned in the Mikra Bikurim, for those that haven't seen the other classes, Bikurim is the first fruits that the fellow brings to the Kohen in the Beis Hamikdash in the temple, and he reads a portion talking about how he got to this point, and we go through different things that happen in Jewish history. So one of them is, we mentioned the fact that we thank Hashem for everything, even going way back to the story of Laban, how he tried to destroy Yaakov Avinu, one of the Avos, one of the forefathers. If not for Yaakov, he wouldn't be around. So the Torah uses a very interesting phraseology. It says, Arami Oved Avi. The person from Aram, Lavan Arami, he destroyed my father. Now we know that's not true, because if he did, we wouldn't be here. He didn't actually destroy Yaakov, he wanted to destroy Yaakov. Talmud tells us that by a non-Jew, if he wants to do an Avera, it's considered as if he did it. By a Jew, it's the opposite. A Jew wants to do a sin, unless he actually physically does the sin, it's not considered as if he did it. By a mitzvah, it has to be but by mitzvah, even the mere thought that he wants to do a mitzvah is already considered as if he did a mitzvah. If he was prevented from doing it, not by his own doing. I wish I could get up for Shacharis. And then you stay in bed. That doesn't count. It's right. You get up, then something came up, your car broke down, you couldn't get to shul. That's a real excuse. But don't think that if you're staying in bed, I want to get up for Shacharis. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so that's one of the differences between the Jew and the non-Jew. You should convert just for that reason. That for a Jew, it's only considered a sin if you actually did the sin. But for a mitzvah, as long as you have the right idea and you prevent it from doing it, again, not because of your own doing, but because of an onus, an accident, there's nothing to do about it, you wanted to do the mitzvah, then it's considered as if you did it. But by a non-Jew, the opposite. An avera, sin, is considered even if you didn't actually do the sin. By a mitzvah, a good deed is only if he actually does the good deed. If you want to do a good deed, it doesn't count. The difference between a non-Jew and a Jew. For the question that we're going to ask now, it's very simple, the Nachla Svi. Why is that? Very simple. Loma hukach, why is it? So he wants to say as follows. Interesting idea. There's an exception to this rule. When a Jew has the machshava, the thought of idolatry, not adultery, but idolatry, then it does count. You don't have to actually bow down to the idol, but if you actually have thoughts of idol worship, that's the one exception. Talmud learned that from a verse, but we're going to say a pshat over here why it might work philosophically. Why? So the reason is, if a person wants to do an avera, but he actually doesn't do the avera, so there are no eidim, there are no witnesses that the avera was performed. Okay? But by avodah zarah, but by idol worship, God knows that you try to worship other idols. So God works as the witness, so he can testify, whatever that means, right? In his Beis Din up there, that you actually performed idolatry, even though you actually didn't physically bow down, because he knows your thoughts. Okay? So now, why don't we use God's edus? Anytime a person has a machshava, they want to do an avera, but then they don't do it. Okay? So why don't you use God's witness? He knows that you had bad thoughts by other averas. Right? You hear the question? If we're using God as the aid, so then use God as the aid for other averos. The answer is, Jewish people are considered children of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Banim atem l'Hashem Elokeichem. That's the pasuk in the Torah. We read it a few weeks ago. Parshas Be'ei. Banim atem l'Hashem Elokeichem. Lo is going to do. Okay. Rabbi, we already heard Kriyas Torah already a few weeks ago. Okay, I got you. So let me go back to the scheduled program. We'll do laning another time. So that's a pasuk in the Torah, Shmuel. Banim atem l'Hashem Elokeichem. Your children to Hashem. So we know the halacha is, Shmuel, can a father and son testify? Can a father be an aid for his son? No, doesn't work. Okay. Now let's ask the question the other way. If the reason why you can't use Hashem as the aid by other averos because he's our father and the father can't be an aid on the son, so then how could Hashem be an aid for Avodah Zarah? Very simple. When a person has the machshava of Avodah Zarah, he's not faithful to the father. He left. That madrega of father and son goes away. It's not physical. A physical father and son does not go away. Yaakov said, it's your father. No matter what you do to him or do who, he is your father. Okay? Father and son doesn't go away. But there's certain relationships that can go away. Husband and wife can go away. So when we say banim l'makom, father and son, obviously we don't mean the physical father and son, because that doesn't change. So we use the mashal father and son, but we really, this is my chiddush over here, I think we're also using the husband-wife relationship, which can be changed. Once one of them is, right, if she's not faithful, it's no longer anymore. So this relationship of father and the son has a tanai, has a condition, that is, if they're faithful. Once you do Avodah Zarah, you no longer are father and son. Let's use the example, if you don't mind, we'll change it a little bit, the husband and wife. I mean, you need father and son because that's why the father, because of this problem of the apostles, of the disqualification of the witness. You don't really have that so much by your husband and wife. But getting back to this over here. So, says in Achasvi, very simple, very nice pshat. So by Avodah Zarah, you can't use this I can't be God says I can't be the aid because it's my son. No, you no longer have that madrega, that level of father and son. Once you cheat, once you get the relationship is not exclusive anymore, then it's gone. Now, says in Achasvi, that's going to answer the other question that we asked before, or I don't know if we asked it, but we're going to answer it. Did I ask this before? How come there's a difference between a Jew and a non-Jew? This madrega. Again, by a Jew, the mere thought to do a mitzvah is considered as if he did the mitzvah, but an avera has to actually be performed physically in order to be considered an avera. But by non-Jew, it's the exact opposite. Why? Very simple. Then by non-Jews, when they do Avodah Zarah, they don't have this special relationship of father and son or husband and wife to make it easier for us to understand. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can always be made, always testify about them that they did Averos. Therefore, he punishes them, or it's considered as if he did an Avera. Mashenke, not the case by Jew. By Jew, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can't say that I'm going to testify, I'll be the aid. Because you can't be the aid, you're the father. The one exception is Avodah Zarah, because by doing Avodah Zarah, obviously, that relationship is severed. Very interesting Lamdisha explanation of the difference between Jew and non-Jew in reference to mitzvahs and averos and our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat Shalom.